What's the name of the show?
It's called the Live Live Now podcast.
Okay, I'm a professional podcaster, so let me start off. Oh, yeah. Hey guys, welcome to the Live Live Now show.
I'm the host.
Okay, good.
Hey guys, welcome to the Live Live Now podcast. I'm Rex Del Rey, and today, on my very first podcast, I got my guest and my homie, Heath Panganiban. Heath Panganiban. Heath Panganiban. Heath Panganiban is from YakTribe, the national kayak fishing community. Heath.
What's up, man?
Welcome to the ActionVan.
Good to be here, bro.
We are out here at Bridgeside Marina to film Ride the Bull 10. Me and Heath came out here last year to film and cover the event. But while we're out here together, wanted to take the chance to do my first podcast with Heath and do some other podcasts with other people, other homies that I got coming in to town. So Heath, how long have we known each other now? How did we meet?
Man, so we've probably known each other in person. I think it's been close to 4 years.
Yeah.
Known of each other, I think it's been probably close to 5 years.
Yeah.
And so, basically, or do you remember the date that you started Live Live? So, or like the year?
Well, it was pretty much right before I went to Florida, which was like 2014. So 5 years.
Okay, so it's been about 5 years.
Yeah,
so as soon as you started Live Live, that's when I discovered you because I was watching. I just made a DIY crate video.
Okay.
And then so I saw like this other Asian making DIY videos. So at first I was like,
there's only a few of us.
Yeah, so I was like, who's this freaking guy? So like click over,
yeah,
and you're like tinkering with like this trolling motor and like foot pegs to like turn it around or something.
Yeah.
Or like something like that. And
I had the seat steering.
Or the seat steering, that's what it was. Like you turn your seat. I was
yeah.
I was like, all right, like that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So then I like subscribed, then you started Live Live, and I was like, man, let me just like, I want to be this guy's friend, so like, let me buy something. And I bought like a shirt.
Well, I appreciate your first.
I bought your first white shirt with the palm tree logo.
Yeah. The bona fide member.
Yeah, and then the sticker. So that's how long I've known of you. But I've actually, the first time we ever met was at ICAST, like the following year.
Yeah.
And so I was at ICAST, and I saw you walking around with this backpack, this black backpack. I was like, oh, there's Rex Del Rey. So like walk over, I was like, what's up, Rex?
That's when we officially met.
We met in person. We'd already had friendly conversations and stuff at that point. So I was like, hey, what's up, Rex? You're like, hey, what's up? You were actually wearing a red YakTribe shirt.
Yeah, I was repping.
Remember?
Yep.
And so I was like, dang, that's so dope. So I like walked over, and you're like, yeah, man. You like popped open your bag and showed me all the hats.
The action hats.
And you're like, I can't sell these here. And he's like, and you're like, I can't sell these here. I ain't trying to get in trouble.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's cool, bro.
We were doing like, I was doing guerrilla marketing. Walking the floor with products in my backpack. Yeah. I had them all attached to my backpack.
Yeah. So that's the first memory. That's when we met. So that was the first.
No, what I remember is, I think you hit me up on Instagram or Facebook, and you left me a message saying, hey man, just want to give you some props, for Live Live Now. Like you said, you respected, what I'm doing, and that you and your wife had recently taken the jump, and you're also kind of going, paycheck to paycheck. And that's what I was really trying to show is like, people always say, you're living the dream, and the truth is, man, there's a lot of stress behind the scenes. There's a lot of work, like trying to build the operations so that you can actually be on the road and do stuff,
Yep.
So that's actually a good segue to the next question I had, which was like, and you could actually talk about what YakTribe is, but what were the chain events, or what was like that moment when you decided to take that leap?
So I had people who follow my journey. I've put out videos like Me Heath or whatever, or like just talking about like my life and like my testimony, and like, because I was who I used to be is like drastically different than who I am now. but I've always been like a hustler and like the hustle mindset.
Yep.
And so always like slinging. I was like building MySpace templates and like selling those in 8th grade.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur and just kind of do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it within like the right parameters, you know what I mean? And so I always did little things. So I like worked for somebody and like tried to start a side hustle.
Yeah.
But then the side hustle never became everything it could have been. And so like I'd go back and like work for somebody, like build websites and like try to do my own thing. And so I left a company, an SEO company I worked for, and I moved to another county and tried to become an entrepreneur and build and just own my own marketing company.
Yep.
But then it was like I wasn't making money
Yeah.
because I wasn't doing sales.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and so I wasn't making money, and so I was focusing on just the product and not sales.
Yeah, people think you can open the door and then the clients come running through, the customers come running through. Yeah.
And so then like I got a different gig, started working for somebody again, and then we started working at our church, you know. But then there came a moment where I was like, you know what? If I don't just like fully commit, I had 2 kids at the time, like fully commit, make the jump, I need to like drastically change my whole life so that there's no dependence on anything. Like even when you try to move into a rental house, they want like first, last, and security.
Yeah.
You know, so like that's like $5,000, $4,000, $3,000 depending on where you're living.
Chunk of change,
right? Yep. And so I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna go drastic. And so I was like, Shin, what do you think about moving into an RV? And so when we first got married, we actually, nobody really knows this. I never talk about this. This is like the first time I'm talking about this online.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit embarrassing. So like when we first got married, she knew who she was marrying, like a crazy kind of adventurous guy.
Yeah. Risk taker.
So we got married and I was like, idea, here we go. We moved, I know how to build websites. So we moved to the Philippines. We sell everything we have.
Everything.
And we build a marketing empire because I had connects in the US. And so I was like, I'll just continue building websites in the US, make US money, live Filipino life, and we'll live like kings and queens, like in a condo in a skyrise.
Sounds legit.
Like $600 a month.
Yes.
And so we literally sold our couch, like we sold almost everything we had. Like sold everything.
Y'all were really going
No, we were going.
Yeah.
We applied for visas. We're like, it's going through. Why wouldn't they give us a visa? Visas got denied. And so now we're sitting here with like not nothing, but like not everything we had.
Yeah.
And so that didn't work. And then I tried to convince her, I was like, let's live on a sailboat. And she was like, that's not happening. And I was like, in the Bay? He like lived in Sarasota Bay. She's like, that's not happening. I was like, well, maybe one day we could live in like an RV. And she's like, that's not happening. And then, so when I wanted to make the jump, she came to me, it all worked out. She was like, hey, you want to live in an RV? You still interested in doing an RV? She came to me.
Yeah, she came.
She could see like how like my stress and like she could see like everything like I wanted to do, and she was building her blog and it was kind of taking off, and I was doing YakTribe and it was kind of taking off.
Like we could do this.
And so she came to me. I remember vividly. We're in our apartment in Lakewood Ranch, and she walks in the room and she says, "So are you still interested in living in an RV?" And I was like, dropped my phone. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, I mean, I would do it if you wanted to. Right?
You got the pass.
I got like a soft pass. And she wasn't like, let's go do it.
Yeah, that's a good
But she was like, I would do it if you still wanted to. That, within 2 or 3 weeks, I had traded my Jeep Grand Cherokee in for this truck. And then I went and I shopped around. I'd already been doing my research. But then there was at the mall on University in Sarasota, they were doing, RV1 from Tampa was doing a demo day. And so it just happened to be that weekend.
Yeah.
We went right there, found our RV and bought it.
Yep.
And then within 3 more weeks, we had moved everything into it and we were gone.
Yeah.
Like, no, it was actually like a month and a half, then we were gone.
Yeah.
Because I did a transition with my church.
Yeah. No, that's really cool because that kind of goes along with what I've been seeing, you know, like I'm a student of the game, and what you always hear is like, it's never the right time. It's never the right time. And it's true, it's never the right time. So a lot of times something serendipitous happens and you're like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
You know, like I remember you going through the process of getting the RV, just
Yeah.
kind of seeing the whole process. And then kind of seeing you go through the process. This is after I had moved back from Florida, and I was just kind of figuring out like what's the next step with ActionVan and Live Live. And I remember I was like, I got to go do ICAST.
Yeah.
And then I started researching like how much it would cost to get a U-Haul, because I have to get a U-Haul to go there.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to be on the road for about at least a week.
Yeah.
And then I got quotes for it. It was like $800 for a U-Haul.
Yeah.
You know, well, maybe $800 plus gas. I don't know the exact calculation. It was like $800. I was like, man, that's a car note.
Yeah.
I was like, so after I did that research, you know, I was on my lunch break at work, and I was like, I'm gonna go pass by this dealership. And then I went to another dealership. And then I went to another dealership after work, and then I found myself in this commercial van lot.
Yeah.
And then there was like this 2014 Sprinter.
Yeah.
And then this 2017 this van.
Yeah.
This exact van.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I was looking at both of them, and I was like, this is the van I'm looking for. This is the biggest van you could possibly get.
Yeah.
The highest roof, the longest, longest cargo space.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have to do this. And within 2 weeks, I had the van. And I was like, this is gonna set the chain off, because I always knew that, like, you know, starting the whole business was just, to me, like a racket to stay on the road and travel and fish and film.
Right.
And here it is. Here's the van. I may not find another van. It was in my city.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times when people are hunting down RVs or vehicles, like, to find the one they want, they have to go travel to another state or to another city and then pick it up and work out all those logistics. I'm like, I'm supposed to have this van. So then I worked everything out, and I ended up, you know, getting that van. And since then, you know, I've been on the road, and the first trip I ever took.
No, I remember when you got the van, my thought was, well, that escalated quickly.
Yeah, that happened fast. Yeah.
Because it was like, there's the van. Oh, wow. It's like, wow, it's being built out now.
Yep. So I think it was like, I don't know. You know what? The first time I met you was the first ICAST. And then I went to the second ICAST when I was in Florida. And then it was the third ICAST I went to when I had the van.
Yeah.
You were at that ICAST too, right?
Yeah.
Were you working?
I was working,
with O'Meals.
O'Meals booth.
Yeah, that's right. And you were bringing me O'Meals
food.
For meals.
Just to eat.
Just grinding.
Yeah.
Because I was at ICAST solo. For the first few days before my buddy TJ Harris came by and helped me run the booth. Oh man. But now it's like, this is what that was like my first year, second year. So maybe this is my second or third year in the van. But this is my 1 year anniversary. No, I've only been in the van 1 year.
Yeah.
A little bit over 1 year.
No, it's been over a year, because your first pack was just your first year anniversary. That's when you got the van.
This is my first year anniversary of going to pack in the van and living out of it.
Right.
So I went to ICAST, and then I went here, and this is my first long stay of like sleeping and staying in the van.
Yeah.
I remember when we first got to pack, you were like, "Hey man, just come sleep inside." I'm like,
it was so annoying too, because like, okay, so I'm half Filipino, so I've got like the Filipino hospitality culture, and
no, like, no, come stay.
Like,
come
so
stay
I'm like
inside.
telling Rex, you know,
I insist.
Rex, why don't you? And I'm not really thinking like he just got his van, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, because I remember how it was when I got my RV. You know, people are like Matt Roberts. He's like, come stay in the house. I was like, no thanks, bro. Like, thank you, but no thanks. You know. And so I was like, Rex, you know, like, come stay. We got a whole room cleared, clean for you, fresh seats. He's like, I'm gonna just sleep in my van. And so I was like, no, Rex, let's come sleep in the RV. And he's like, no, like, I want to sleep in the van. I was like, it's not a burden. Sleep in the RV.
Yeah.
Until like I realized.
And then
like,
I had to tell you, I was like, bro, you know how it is, like, because I had just talked to Rob Field.
Yeah.
And he was saying, he's like, people do that to him all the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I have to like work out the kinks in my van.
Exactly.
I have to just stay in it.
Yeah.
You know, so after that, you were like, oh yeah.
I was like,
I
but
get
come
it.
eat though. You know?
Oh yeah. So I definitely come eat. So every time I go to pack, or anytime I'm linking up with Heath, Heath feeds me like family.
Yeah.
You know. So that's definitely pretty cool. So we're gonna be filming here.
Yeah.
Well, in a few hours, we got to set up the booth. You actually worked that whole thing out where we could actually come out. So I appreciate you,
of course,
tagging along, letting me tag along and knock it out. And that was kind of the whole premise of going to pack in the first place. We're like, you gave me a heads up, like, hey, I'm setting up a booth at Ride the Bull, and I was like, I'm gonna see if I can do that. And I contacted Brad, and he let me set up, and then me and you ended up like just tag teaming the coverage, and then we came out with a really cool video. So now it's like the 10-year anniversary of Ride the Bull, which is like a big fun event. And I think there's about
right now it's like 650. So they shut down registration. So tonight there'll be more registrations. So I have a feeling they'll get to at least 700.
So this is actually probably you're going to be leaving after this event.
So I'm going Sunday.
I'm going back to pack. But yeah, man, just fill people in on the. I know you had a major life change, and you know, first of all, you got a third kid that I haven't met yet. So Tito Rex has not met Owen yet. But that did kind of change up the whole logistics and everything.
So
right?
it was. I think it was like a blessing in disguise. Like, it depends how you look at it. So Owen was born with a club foot. So his foot was like, normally your feet are like this, but his foot was wrapped around backwards. And so basically like his big toe was like almost like touching the back of his leg. It was like back. And so before we had Owen, like a few months, we started to get an urge, like, you know, like we did the on the road thing. And like we loved traveling. But we started feeling like, I think we need to be back home and like get settled. I started missing like my family and missing all of my gatherings. And like being on the road, it like seems very glamorous, but there's a lot you sacrifice. Like you miss the little things.
No doubt.
Your friends don't come see you, and so you have to go see your friends all the time, if you can.
Because they got jobs, they got families, they got houses.
You link up with people, and that's a blessing. You get to see them and meet them and do that thing, but you miss out on what was going on back home. You know what I mean?
You being Filipino,
it's
like
always
every
a party.
Cousin, every aunt, every family member.
That's
there's a birthday.
It's always a birthday.
There's always good food. So Filipinos need no little excuse to get together.
It's just always happening. Like I'm missing a party this weekend. And we have another party next weekend. You know what I mean? And I'm missing that. And so we started to get this urge to go home, and so we did it. We followed that urge, and we were like, let's just do it, and let's get reacquainted with our family, and we need more stability right now. We had a lot going on with our company and stuff. And so then Owen was born with a clubbed foot. And so you could look at that as like a bad thing or a good thing. Like, it was a blessing to be home, yet he was born with a crooked foot. You know what I'm saying? And so he was born with that. And so the way to go about fixing that is week after week after week for 8 weeks in a row. You have to go get a new cast on. You have to see doctors every week. And
it's kind of like braces.
It's braces. And so it was like, maybe this is why we were supposed to be home. Is because he was born, and like we can't do that from the road, like insurance and going to the doctor and figuring that out. And then there's so much more happened that we needed to be in a stable place. And so it was a blessing that we followed that urge. But now, you know, now what we're focusing on is taking trips out. So like when you travel, when you travel and live on the road full time, and you run a company, you don't actually get to experience the place you're in all the time. And so we might be in a beautiful place like Raccoon Mountain in Tennessee, Chattanooga, Tennessee, but we're sitting in our RV working. But living in an RV, and we get to do spurts and do little things, but that's all it's a spurt. And so now our strategy is changing, because now we're going to be stationed at home, do life, grind it out, but then make sure that every month we take 1 or 2 trips out.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of our strategy now.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
So I like that because like I got a room every time if I'm going to St.
Oh yeah, so like you have a room to stay. We have a guest room. You know, like
I got a place to post up because I definitely want to do another trip out to Florida. It's been a while.
Yeah.
So I've been out to Florida, so having a kind of a home base out of there, and I'm sure me and you are going to be doing some trips, you know, out of Florida. But yeah, man. So we're gonna have to get set up here soon, man. So I just wanted to kind of close it out and thank you for coming on the podcast. You're the first guy. You had me on yours.
Yep.
But yeah, man, Live Live Now podcast is really about, you know, highlighting doers, people who I feel like live live now.
Yeah.
And Heath, you know, if you know Heath at all, Heath is a hustler, and I definitely have a lot of respect for that. I consider you a business partner, pretty much in a lot of the stuff we do, because we just organically collaborate. We're about the same stuff, and we're doing the same stuff, man. But you know, let's close it out. Like, do you have anything new coming up? Anything you want to plug? Anything you want to share?
Man, so you were the second person on the YakTribe kayak show, and so I'm really trying to push that, because so the intention of both of our shows, which you need to, if you're watching this now, so I'm going to share it, and you don't follow Rex, you should follow this closely, because we're both in a very unique situation where we've met a lot of people, and we have these connects. They're not always deep connects, but they're good connects with people who are doing stuff. And so the intent, I think, of both of our shows is to show off the people,
the stories,
and the
man.
story. And so we're both storytellers. And so, like, I'm focusing on the YakTribe kayak show right now, and I put a pause on a few other things, like tournaments and stuff like that. Like, I want to put my time into telling stories.
Yeah.
Into like getting to know business owners. And so that's one thing that I'm really focusing on. But I wanted to say, and like we talked about this on the podcast that Rex was on, was that, you know, what you're doing is really important, and like putting out this content is really important. So there's 2 types of people. There's people that I'm talking about in like what in the demographic of what we do. There's people that like want to button up every little possible thing and never release content because it needs to be buttoned up, right?
Yeah.
And then there's people like you who like they gather the content, they do what they can with the content, and they put it out. And it doesn't need to be movie theater quality. And I think that's very important, the content you put out, because it shows real life and it shows real people. And you had mentioned that you like talking about the struggle. So the flip side of the coin of what you guys see, you know, like the pictures and the bull red that he caught the other day, and us messing on the skiff and stuff like that. The flip side of the coin is this. It's the grind. It's sitting in a van. The AC's on, but it's getting a little warm in here. You know, like after this is post-production.
Yep.
And so look, you can see in this frame, you've got a heat press, you've got a computer, like you've got a bed, like you've got all this stuff. And so I think it's very important. I'm just trying to say, I think it's very important what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because people need to see the behind the scenes of what's going on that makes Fish Fresh and Live Live Now and Action Hat actually operate. And so, look, like we got a heat press. He's gonna be pressing up shirts on the spot, right? And so Rex is also a hustler, and I just wanted to say that my friendship with Rex is extremely important to me, because not only is he like a friend and we have fun fishing, but Rex is a family member to me.
Yeah.
And so I really respect everything that you do and what you do and how you go about doing it and promoting it, because you have all kinds of demographics that watch you, from younger people to 60-year-old men. You know what I mean? And so you have a very important platform. So thanks for doing this, bro. I appreciate it.
No, man, if we're just gonna get all sappy and stuff and like
that's it, man.
Thank each other. Man, no, but like the real stories, real connections, real people, man.
Yeah.
That's your motto with YakTribe.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you know, in a world, I'm not trying to get negative, but I'm just saying, like, in a world full of egos and things like that, I think, you know, before you could get mad and like angry, like what is this about? Like everybody's like just promoting and pushing themselves about like, I just think it's not real. A lot of stuff is not real. A lot of stuff is not organic. And to see something legit, like YakTribe, which is like real people, real connections, real stories. Like, you live and breathe that, and that's why I've been such a big fan of YakTribe. Because again, like, you could be mad about that stuff, or you could create content and create a platform that is done the way you want it to be.
Right.
So if you don't like some shit, go do shit that you do like, and create something that you believe like how it should be. You know, and that's the same token I've taken, you know, with Live Live. Like, I see a lot of people just kind of sitting around and watching their life pass by.
Right.
So I created Live Live to promote being a doer and being an action-oriented person, and just freaking going for it.
If you see something you don't like, especially on Facebook, you could hop on the keyboard and say something that's like very witty and slick and
or passive aggressive,
or probably like really intelligent. Right. But and you could get that out, but you're gonna feel salty still.
No, the key thing is you're actually promoting that negativity.
You really are. And so like I think like the best thing you can do is to actually go do something that counteracts that.
Yeah.
And so like you're gonna get your expression out and still feel mad.
Yeah.
But if you go and do what it is you're trying to get them to understand.
Like, you do what you want to see.
Right.
Like, if you see something that bothers you, don't go out and make a rant about it, which is something I actually did whenever I was like just in a bad place. And I'm talking about this from personal experience. Like, I used to rant and rave about like all these things I didn't like. And I realized like I was just like kind of festering in it.
Right.
And I was like, you know, they're saying you don't kill fire with fire.
Right.
You know, you kill it with water.
Right.
You know, you kill it. So you got to do like the opposite effect of if you don't like something, do something that you do like and promote the good.
Right.
You know, like, a lot of people expect good when the truth is you have to go do good.
Right.
Like, you have to create it. Like, if you want a good world, if you want a good vibe, you want a good environment, like, the first thing you have to do is resist the urge to talk about all the bad. You have to like do good.
Right. If there's something negative, the best thing you can do is overpower it with positive. You know, like, rather than shining the light on the bad thing, that's not really going to do anything except expose you.
No, absolutely.
It's going to like expose you as the critic. And not like do anything positive. And so, man, that's why I love the Live Live brand, the Fish Fresh brand, because it's, you know, here's the thing. Here's what I wanted to say actually before my GoPro dies. It's like, anybody can do this. Anybody can go and get this blank right here. All right. And then you could slap. This is a whiskey company, but you could slap Kayak Fish, Yak Fish Kayak, you know, Co. on it, and have you a nice shirt. Right. And have a brand and be the owner. File that away. Get a trademark on the name. Whatever. Anybody can do that.
Funky Fish.
Funky Fish. But here's the thing. Anybody can do that. It really doesn't matter what you name it, right? But can you actually develop a culture and a community and a culture that shines on what you're so not everyone can do that. And so that's why I love like Fish Fresh, because that could be anything, but not everyone's able to promote and show
what it's about.
Right? And show that like it's not actually about the hat that says YakTribe or the hat that says Fish Fresh. What it actually is showing like we are out here and we are doing it and we're fishing by any means possible. Like, we might be using a popping cork one day and we might be using a bugs jig to sight cast the next day,
or dead strip on the bottom.
But it don't matter because we're out here doing it. You know what I mean? And so that's the people we want to attract in both of our
demographics. It is, man, and I think it's really it's really important to just represent who you are, because there's only one you. Right. You know, like, me and you are Filipino, but you're half Filipino. But like, culturally, like with Fish Fresh, like, what happened to that? Did it die?
This one, hot. Yeah. No, well, we could.
Oh yeah. So we'll just wrap it. You know, so culturally, with Fish Fresh, where was I at? I said you're half Filipino, right?
Yeah.
You being half Filipino, like, we grew up in a culture that eats fish.
Yeah.
Right? And with the popularity of like sports fishing and bass fishing, and
No, pause. Like my grandpa, my early memories of like my grandfather, we'd go to the Skyway Bridge.
Yeah.
And it would be like we would have like half a mile of our family on there.
Yeah.
Like fishing, like the cousins, the aunts, the uncles.
It's
like, bro, we'd
clan.
have the rice cooker out. Like
Yeah,
we would have
yeah.
the propane stoves and everything. But here's the thing. We weren't allowed to throw fish back. If it was illegal, it was like throw it back. But like pinfish, dare I throw a pinfish back?
Fish cookies.
Oh, or put it in what's the fish soup? Like which is like a mix of fish soup. Fish. Just greenbacks, bro. Like what?
Hardtails.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Keeping everything.
No, so yeah, with the popularity of like bass fishing and sports fishing, where it's about like, catching the fish and releasing it, and the competitions and the tournaments, like that side of the industry is well represented. Mm-hmm. But the truth is, to me, like the vast majority of fishing is cultural eating fish, catching and eating fresh fish.
Yeah.
So that's what Fish Fresh is about. And I realize like that's not really represented. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's even shamed and looked down upon, you know?
Yeah.
And my brand is not against sport fishing and not against bass fishing, but I am pro catching and eating fish, which is the original purpose of it. And that's why I say, fresh fish since forever. You know what I'm saying? Because this is why people started fishing to begin with. And I think it's been looked down upon and people have been shamed. And that's why I rep it that way. Because part of that whole culture of like catching and eating fish, it's so much fun to catch fish because you do it as a whole family. Like you and your whole family, the whole clan go out on the pier, you guys catch fish, you make good memories. And to me, man, that's what fishing is all about. And I think there's a part of it that gets lost. Even when I was starting out and making these YouTube videos, I remember just being frustrated because I didn't catch a fish on camera, or I didn't have that stuff, and it just like sucked.
Almost like you felt like that day of fishing was a fail because it's like I didn't get the pick.
It just sucked all the fun out of it. And then that's when I kind of, when I started Fish Fresh, it was just kind of to reprogram like what fishing is about and get back to the roots. And that's what Fish Fresh is about. And there's so much synergy with, YakTribe and what you're doing. And that's why me and Heath are probably going to keep working together forever. Heath's family, we're going to be friends forever. So you're probably going to be a repeat guest every time we link up, try to catch up on new stuff. But we got to get back to the hustle. Thank you very much for joining us. Make sure to subscribe to this podcast, subscribe to the channel. I've always got fresh content coming out. I'm really excited about this new podcast because we can actually talk about some real shit without being kind of diluted in the message.
Beat around the bush. We say
it's like this is what I represent through the footage I'm sharing. Like we're just going to be talking about what it's really about. And I think we're going to connect with a lot of people.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm glad to be here, man. Thanks for having me. Let's go film.